Have you ever wondered about the different kinds of juries you hear about in the news, and why some cases go to one type of jury while others go to a different one? It can seem a bit confusing, especially with all the legal terms floating around. The core difference between a grand jury and a trial jury lies in their fundamental purpose and role within the justice system. A grand jury determines whether there is enough evidence to bring criminal charges against someone, effectively deciding if a case should proceed to trial. In contrast, a trial jury, also known as a petit jury, listens to the evidence presented during a trial and decides if the accused person is guilty or innocent beyond a reasonable doubt. The reason for these distinct roles stems from the fundamental legal principle of due process and the protection of individual rights. Grand juries serve as a preliminary check on prosecutorial power, ensuring that criminal charges are not brought arbitrarily or without a reasonable basis. This process acts as a safeguard against malicious prosecution. Trial juries, on the other hand, uphold the constitutional right to a fair trial, allowing a group of impartial citizens to weigh facts and determine culpability, which is a cornerstone of our adversarial system of justice. To illustrate how these juries function in practice, consider the stages of a criminal case. If law enforcement believes a serious crime has occurred, the prosecution might present evidence to a grand jury. This presentation happens in secret, without the defendant or their attorney present, to encourage witness cooperation and protect ongoing investigations. If the grand jury finds sufficient probable cause, they will issue an indictment, which is a formal accusation that leads to charges. Once charges are filed, if the case proceeds to trial, a new group of citizens will be selected to form the trial jury. This jury will then hear both sides of the argument, cross-examine witnesses, and ultimately render a verdict in open court. It is also fascinating to note the numerical difference. Grand juries typically consist of a larger number of jurors, often 16 to 23 individuals, and their proceedings do not requiring a unanimous vote for an indictment, usually a simple majority. Trial juries are much smaller, traditionally composed of 12 members for felony cases, though some states permit fewer for misdemeanors, and their verdict almost always requires unanimity to ensure a robust finding of guilt or innocence. Understanding these separate functions allows you to appreciate the intricate checks and balances designed into our legal framework. The grand jury ensures that charges are not pursued lightly, and the trial jury guarantees a thorough and public examination of evidence before a person's liberty is at stake, providing a dual layer of protection for justice.